Okay, apologies for my night shirts, I've got a cold at the moment. Okay, the revised 5 proofs. There was one further possibility, and of course one we decided not to go with, and that's all we're left with. So we're now moving the second fire sign to Tebeth 3, which is the second weekly Sabbath after the Super Pentecost of Chislev 22, 2019. So let me explain the 5 proofs again. Sent the first letter to the Watchtower, beginning my interaction with them, 1992 Elul 11. That was the morning of the day of my interaction. That was sunrise. Then noon I mocked them according to 1 Kings 18, and I sent a letter, scathing letter, which they sent to the FBI, and the FBI came to see me, and they thought it was quite amusing, and they were great. I said, look, I think there's going to be a nuclear attack on New York, which is going to blow up the United Nations and also blow up the Watchtower. And they said, the nuclear attack will blow up the United Nations? Are you crazy? They didn't say that, actually. They said, where'd you get that from? And I said, well, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. And they were very respectful, they were brilliant. They said, look, you have a right to say whatever you want on the internet. It's down to you, but we have to investigate if it's a nuclear attack. But what the Watchtower did, rather than referring to God, is they went to Satan, which is not the idea. You don't go to Satan's organisations. You make an inquiry of God, for goodness sake. They fulfilled 2 Kings 1, in fact. Is there no God? That you go to Baal, the god of Ekron, said Elijah to Ahaziah. Anyway, so 2006 ER1 was the middle of the contest, noon, when I sent this scathing letter, which they sent to the FBI. That's 4,910 BLC days between those two. So then you go another 4,910 BLC days forward, you end up on Chislev 21, 2019. And that was the last day of us not having any correct predictions, because on Chislev 22, which was the Super Pentecost of the contest, it was the late 2NC Pentecost. The 2NC Pentecost this year is the Super Pentecost of 1 Kings 18. And the late version of it is the St. Festival to Jehovah. And the reason it's the Super Pentecost is that if you go to the start of Carmel, or the top of Carmel, the Hebrew word resh, which can mean start or top, or head or chief, or hovercraft or eel, or can of baked beans, or spaghetti hoops, as Hebrew does. Then you get to the start of Zohar, which is 2012, Sivan 14, the Passover, and 15, the Jubilee Restoration. And the first no-show on a Pentecostal festival Sabbath after that was Ab 5 and also Elul 5. And then you go back 7 times from there, because Elijah instructed his attendant to go back 7 times. And you get to 2019 Elul 5, and that's your 7 Sabbaths from the 0th no-show initial Sabbath. And then you go to the 8th Sabbath, which is the Pentecost after the 7th Sabbath, and that's Heshvan 21, the 2NC Pentecost. There's your Super Pentecost. So that was when we should have got the gifts of the Spirit and got a Pentecostal release in the form of the correct prediction. And we did. We made the correct prediction extension, we assert, up to Tebeth 11. We got the correct third fire sign date of Tebeth 6, the latest possible third fire sign date. But we went for initially 26, Chislev 26 for second fire sign. Then we went for Chislev 29 on the 26th. And then we went for Tebeth 3 today, although we put Tebeth 3 in with the 26th stuff because we saw it as a possibility, but we rejected it. So we rejected 29 in favour of 26 on 22. We rejected Tebeth 3 in favour of Chislev 29 on Tebeth 26, and here we are on Chislev 29. It's actually Chislev 30 now, but Chislev 29, 5 minutes before sunset, I saw that the ride of the first horseman actually began when the horse became white, and the horse became white at the Pentecost because it's first ripe fruits. They're not white fruits but ripe fruits, but that ripe fruits means sealed, and that's when the apostles were sealed at the first Pentecost, and all the 2NCs are sealed at the last, because the first will be last. So, good news, all you 2NCs, there's 144,000 plus 12,000 reserves, there's 156,000 2NC saints. You are all sealed, you're all chosen, the horse is white. I ride it for 7 days, the sentence count of Revelation 6 to, those 7 days go from Chislev 22 to Chislev 29. So my ride has ended, because he went out conquering with the correct third fire sign, the correct prediction extension, but the incorrect second fire sign date, and to complete his conquest, i.e. get the correct second fire sign date, which we did 5 minutes literally before sunset in GMT today. So that is my conquest. It's not my conquest is not when a fire sign occurs. It's when I get the right date. I'm not making fire signs. Satan does that. Well, actually, he doesn't. It's the dragon who does it. Satan is repented. My job is to get the right dates, and I did that starting on the 22nd and ending on the 29th, and that's the ride of the white horse. And I'm given a crown. Which crown I get is the kingship, sacred kingship over the 1NC reserves. I get that crown when Laodicea falls as a true church. So there's no longer a dispute between who should have the crown over the 1NCs. It's me, because they aren't running a true church anymore, whereas I am. So that's Revelation. All right, and that's the noon scenario. And then likewise with Alan being made apostle on 2015, Chislev 21, 4 years after that, the 4 times of Revelation 9, 13 to 15, the day, the month, the hour and the year, 4 times, and the 4 angels bound over the Euphrates. They're bound by incorrect fire signs, or by not having the correct fire signs. That situation ends on Chislev 22 when we have the correct predicted extension, the correct third fire sign, but not the correct second. So that period of 4 times is the time of Alan being an apostle and me not having a correct fire sign. Then we've got to go back 7 times from Chislev 21, 2019. That takes you to Chislev 21, 2012, when we were appointed over Zoa. That is all very cute. It's another proof of the significance of that this thing goes down at the late 2NC Pentecost, rather than the regular 2NC Pentecost. Actually. And then you've got the 70 weeks that must, the 69th week must end with the Holy of Holies being anointed, which is Jesus' last marriage on Chislev 20, when he is also his coronation, so he becomes king of the whole third Holy Spirit, and he then has his whole wife in the ark, and so Jesus has completed his arrival in the ark. So 69 weeks until the Messiah, the leader, says Daniel 9. So 69 weeks ends when the entirety of the third Holy Spirit is in the ark and Jesus marries them, and that was Chislev 20. And then the 70th week goes to Chislev 26. And in that week, you imprint a seal on vision and prophet. And that's saying I must get it right during that week, so that I can be sealed as being the prophet by having the correct vision of 1 Kings 18 and the fire signs. And I got 29 and Tebeth 3 as possibilities on Chislev 26, but I chose the wrong one. But I did actually put in writing, and it's on the website, that Tebeth 3 was an option. Now I'm choosing that option. So Tebeth 3 is the Sabbath. It's Friday, Saturday, January 3-4. That's the second fire sign in the UK, making a mushroom cloud above the Thames round about Dartford, we think. And then January 6-7 is Monday, Tuesday, and that's making a mushroom cloud above the Hudson round about the George Washington Bridge, we think, in Manhattan. Okay, and that hopefully is that.